There's a saying that there's nothing new under the sun. Now, I don't know if I believe that there's nothing new under the sun, but what I do believe is that a lot of things that some people get upset about and they feel are going too far or somehow tarnishing um, traditional values, those things are a lot more traditional than the values that they're talking about. For example, all it takes is a little bit of research. I saw a post today where someone was saying, oh my gosh, lavender marriages, you're going too far now. Now, if you don't know what a lavender marriage is, it's when someone who is not straight decides to marry someone who is straight because there's some reason they want to do it. Either they feel like it will cause them to have some kind of benefit, or they want to raise children together in a non-traditional way. I mean, there could be a lot of different reasons, but this is not new. This has been done from, at least what I know, at least since the 1600s. And it was done in the past because there was so much stigma around not being straight. And it was a way for people to, in a sense, hide in plain sight. Once they were married, people stopped questioning their sexuality or their preferences, and they just considered them eccentric or considered them, you know, to have different traits. And they stopped questioning whether, that person liked someone of the same gender. So this doesn't only apply to that, it applies to so many things. There are herbs that people are beginning to take now that were taken thousands of years ago. There's breath work and crystals and goddess worship and nature worship. And, people have literally called this stuff New Age since I was a kid. New Age? It's paganism. It's naturalism. It's, you know, all kinds of other things that you could name it. But these things existed before organized religion was ever thought of. They're literally where spirituality began, way before we ever had churches and temples and Bibles and holy books of the sort that we think of today. So many things are very deeply ancestral. And, there's a thing called cellular memory. There are things that we do, some of us, that we can't explain. We don't even know where it came from. I remember the first time I saw someone pour out, liquor for the homies. I had never seen it done before, but it touched something inside of me because something inside of me recognized that, resonated with that, understood instinctually what it meant, and that it wasn't new, even though I had never consciously remembered seeing it done before. But they say, scientists say, that we have something like 2,000 ancestors within our DNA. And there have been all kind of studies on, again, what I said, cellular memory, that people have gotten transplants and suddenly they crave foods that they never liked before. Suddenly they had talents they didn't seem to have known that they had before. They have these dreams or visions or smells or all kind of things that come from seemingly nowhere. And the only thing that's changed is now that they have somebody else's organ in their body. So a lot of, like I said, what we think is modern isn't. It's that DNA part of us rearing up and saying, hey, you forgot about this. Let's bring it back. Whether it's a makeup trend or a fashion trend or a type of music or a type of food or a desire to get back to nature, or a desire to ground, or chanting, or humming, or singing, or doing all kinds of different things that now some scientists, some doctors, some sociologists and researchers are starting to look into. Why are people being pulled back to this, that, and the other? Is there some kind of benefit to it? Does it actually do something for the nervous system, for the brain, for the body, for the soul, the spirit, And they're finding that there's some research to back up a lot of these things as being beneficial. And there is some wisdom in the old wives' tales, or or this intuition that seemed to have come from nowhere. But once again, it came from somewhere very ancient. So I think it's really good, before you have some kind of knee-jerk reaction about how people are going too far with this critical race theory, or with whatever it is, to realize that a whole lot of things are old ideas with new titles. They're things people have talked about for hundreds and even thousands of years. And somebody just gave it a new name. Somebody just rebranded it. Somebody just, politicized it. But it's literally been around for generations. And I think we have to get to the point where we stop being so easily triggered by people acting as if X, Y, or Z is completely brand new, when X, Y, or Z has been here and has been doing what it was doing in the background for decades, or hundreds, or thousands of years. May you walk in Zenergy. There's a saying that there's nothing new under the sun. Now, I don't know if I believe that there's nothing new under the sun. But what I do believe is that a lot of things that some people